For the most part, employees discipline themselves by conforming to what is considered acceptable behavior simply because it's the sensible thing to do. Self-discipline can be encouraged when people are treated as adults, that is, when the organization uses an open book management style, offers employees opportunities to have input into decisions, and makes them comfortable when speaking truth to power. The need for managers to use best practices in the disciplinary process is illustrated by the availability of professional liability insurance to safeguard managers' livelihoods and careers. That is, the administrator, not the agency's human resource or legal office, is the one accountable for the decision. The term discipline is best understood as orderly conduct at work achieved by self-control and respect for agency rules. When performance problems or misconduct issues occur, the personnel appraisal or discipline systems may be utilized to improve behavior. Factors that managers should consider when using these systems include problem severity, duration, frequency, extenuating circumstances, organizational policies and employee training, agency past practice, and management support. To protect both the individual and the institution, appraisal and discipline must be used only for justifiable reasons. To ensure fair treatment, actions must be derived from written guidelines. To be corrective, not punitive, be based on the act, not the personality, and to be timely, consistent with previous cases, and proportionate to the problem. The evaluation will be only as good as the evidence on which it is based. Documentation is the cornerstone, and it commences with a prompt and thorough investigation. If the administrator has performed his or her responsibility to train the worker and the worker fails, then appropriate adverse action is in the best interest of the organization. Discipline regulations routinely incorporate the Douglas factors, first articulated in Curtis Douglas versus the Veterans Administration, into their guidance on how to fashion an appropriate disciplinary penalty. Supervisors and managers often must complete a written response to each factor prior to taking any documented corrective action. Among these elements are 1. The nature of the offense, 2. The employee's job, past work record, and previous disciplinary actions, 3. The effect of the offense on the employee's ability to perform at a satisfactory level, 4. The consistency of the penalty, 5. The clarity with which the employee was on notice of any rules that were violated, 6. The individual's potential for rehabilitation, and 7. The adequacy of alternative sanctions. Progressive discipline, or more accurately, progressive punishment, and positive corrective action are two approaches used by organizations. Progressive punishment, the most common policy, is an awkward combination of retribution and rehabilitation. Because this policy can be autocratic, adversarial, and intimidating, some jurisdictions have replaced it with positive corrective action, a strategy based on the premise that adults must assume responsibility for their own conduct. More participative than punitive, the technique utilizes the following steps: a conference between employee and manager to find a solution to the problem with oral agreement to improve, a subsequent meeting, if reform is not accomplished, to determine why the agreed-upon solution did not work, with a written reminder that the solution is the responsibility of the individual as a condition of employment. In brief, the employee, not the employer, is the decision-maker. The responsibility-based system not only demonstrates employer good faith, but also reduces the risk of workplace violence. The principle underlying both progressive punishment and positive corrective action is a just cause standard. Was the investigation done properly? Was the employee aware of rule violation? And was the standard reasonable? Was the rule in question violated? Was mitigating circumstances merit consideration? And finally, had comparable cases occurred, and if so, how were they addressed? The premise is that just procedure should help ensure a fair outcome. The purpose of such systems is not to win battles, but to provide feedback and training to foster responsible employees. Managers can reduce the number of problems they experience during the discipline process through training, establishing clear rules, following procedures, and documenting actions taken.